Hey there, friends. I saw you dancing. Don't try to deny it because I was dancing too. I am super excited to welcome you tonight to our free training where I'm going to be sharing with you 3 behind the scenes secrets to implementing and managing your learning centers in your classroom. Now, if you are excited to be here, jump over in that chat and make sure you let me know how excited you are to finally get some secrets to running successful learning centers in your classroom. Oh, I'm super excited about this tonight. All right, we've got a few people that are coming in still, so I want to give them the opportunity to join, and let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what grade level you teach. I like to know where everybody is tuning in from. And we are going to get started. I do want to let you know that there will be a Q&A at the end, but feel free to leave your questions. I do have my lovely assistant. I'd love to call him Vanna White, but he's not Vanna White. He's my wonderful husband. He's actually going to be filtering through some questions and getting them ready for me to answer at the Q&A. So definitely leave any questions along the way so that I can make sure and get those answered. All right, guys, let's get started and dive in. Super excited. All right, I do want to take a moment to welcome all of my teacher friends. I'm assuming if you are here in this training, you are a teacher. I want you to know that you are an educational rock star just for showing up, more, for yourself, but most importantly for your students. I will tell you, it has always amazed me the links that we teachers will go to in order to provide the highest quality learning environment for our students. So if you haven't been told lately, thank you. Just thank you from the bottom of my heart as a fellow teacher, as a parent. You are amazing. Thank you for always trying to seek out new ways to be the best teacher you can possibly be for your students. Now, we're by the end of our time together, and I do value your time, so we're going to get through this training. By the time we get done with this training, I am going to have shown you how you can transform your classroom into a small group instruction paradise where you will jump for joy when your administrator comes in to observe while your students are in their learning centers. I want you to imagine it. Your students working independently, moving fluidly through the effective process that you have in place that allows you to implement small group instruction to meet the needs of your students more. Now, if that doesn't excite you, I don't know what will. Show me in the comments, are you excited to learn this process? I'm going to jump over here. We've got some people joining us from, oh, wow, we got 3rd graders in the house, kindergartners in the house. Man, yes, I'm super excited to have, the Bay Area in California. I'll be in California in just a few weeks. I'm super excited to go to California. All right, we've got Texas teachers in here. Texas in the house. All right, awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and keep going. Now, if you stick with me through to the end of this presentation and you decide to continue on with this transformation, I'm going to give you the opportunity to get your hands on a very, very special bonus that I just added to this new program. I am going to give you all those exciting details at the end of this masterclass. Now, I do want to ask that it can be easy to get distracted, and I want you to make sure that you stay focused during this training. I assure you that if you stay focused, you will walk away feeling like your time was well spent. So turn off your cell phone, shut down all those windows on your computer, close the door, give the kids some toys, whatever you need to do to truly focus. Remember, you owe it to yourself and to your students. Now, you might be asking yourself, am I even in the right place? Well, you're in the right place if you want to teach in small groups, but you are worried about what the rest of your students are going to be doing. You are definitely in the right place if you want to implement learning centers in your classroom, but you are completely lost as to where to start. If you are this person, give me a thumbs up, a yes, say yes in the comments. if you are definitely lost when it comes to learning centers. You're also in the right place if you are stressed and tired of spending hours upon hours scheduling and planning learning centers. Can I get an amen? Because that was so me. If you're tired of losing time with your family, missing dinner, or spending your entire Sunday evening prepping center rotations, if this is you, give me a yes. You're also in the right place if you want to transform your classroom into a small group instruction paradise. Or you want to teach in small groups and watch your students move effectively and efficiently through learning centers with little to no help from you. Now, I do have to do this because every once in a while we get, I get somebody in a training that it's not the right fit. So this is not for you if you already have a center management system that is working for you and you don't want to change anything about it. Or you don't think you need to use learning centers in your classroom. I actually have teachers that come to me and say, I don't need to use learning centers, so this isn't for me. Or you don't like a little work in order to get results and make your life easier. Let's face it, we're gonna have to do a little work. But if you don't like doing a little work to get results, this might not be the place for you. And it's definitely not the place for you if you get upset or offended when someone gives you 60 minutes of free content and then makes you an offer at the end. Now, I do want to take a moment to introduce myself. I am Farah Henley, and I have spent the last 20 years in education. I am a former homeschooler. I homeschooled both of my children when they were younger before we let them enroll in public school. I am also a former K-5 classroom teacher. I actually have taught pre-K as well. I'm currently an online ESL teacher where I teach with a company called VIP Kid. And I absolutely love teaching my students over in China. I am also a teacher creative. I create resources for teachers to use in their classroom to make their lives a little easier. I'm a podcaster over at the Field Trip Teacher Podcast. I have a YouTube channel where I share tips and strategies for both teachers, entrepreneurs, and for full-time travelers. And my husband and I have the distinct honor to be able to travel full-time and see the amazing things that our country has to offer. Maybe we'll get overseas eventually, but right now we're trying to see what's in our own backyard. Now, I remember the moment that my admin told me that I needed to teach in small groups. I was stoked. Truly, I was. I had spent several years teaching whole group for everything. But this, as you know, is difficult when you have multiple levels in your classroom. While I was excited, I was also scared to death. Classroom management was my pride and joy. My classroom was a well-oiled machine. My students moved with precision from activity to activity. Behavior issues were non-existent. I know you might be thinking right now, whoa, how in the world did she not have any behavior issues? Well, that is a whole different training, but listen, even though my students were well behaved and followed the lead of their conductor of the symphony orchestra in my classroom, I wasn't actually providing what they needed. I wasn't meeting them on their level. So when I was given the opportunity to implement small group instruction, I was thrilled. But like I said, I was also terrified. What was this going to mean if my students had to function without me, and if they had to move from task to task and space to space without me showing them and there being a procedure for this to happen? What was going to happen when they had to function and problem solve on their own? Well, let me tell you, it was a disaster. My students were so confused. They didn't know how to function without me telling them exactly what to do and when to do it. If you have a class like this, raise your hand. Raise your hand in the comments. Say, yes, this is my class. This is most definitely my class. But like most of you, I went to the internet. I started scouring the internet for center management systems, and boy, were there a lot. I tried them all. Let me tell you a little secret, and I'm a little embarrassed that my husband is listening to this right now, but I spent thousands of dollars Yes, I said thousands, on charts, programs, rewards, treasure boxes, you name it, I did it. But not one single time did it last. Not one single time did it survive from year to year. Not one single time did I finally find that teacher paradise that I heard had existed during Learning Center rotations. Then it hit me. All of these systems and methods that I was trying, they all had some great pieces, but none of them had it all. Can you imagine? I want you to close your eyes. Can you imagine what it would feel like if you were sitting in your small group instruction, teaching your students, and the other students in your classroom were engaged in learning activities with their peers without interrupting you or needing your help? Can you see it? What would that feel like? Tell me what that would mean to you. Tell me in the comments, what would that mean to you? I'm going to jump over there so I can see your comments because I want to know. I want to know what this would mean to you to have a system in place that gave you this freedom. I want to see this. I want to know. Oh, yes, absolutely. Everybody's like, yes, 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 amen. I love it. I love it. I love it. It would mean teacher paradise. Let's be honest. What would it feel like to want, no, beg for your admin to come in and do an observation during your center time? Now, I don't know about you, but when I first started centers, this was definitely not something I was begging for because that was the last time I did not want my admin coming in during my center rotations. Now, I want you to keep a couple of things in mind as we head into this training. You need to get out of your own way. A lot of times we are our biggest enemy. We are our own worst enemy when it comes to making changes and making things work. It's all about taking action, even one of these actions that I'm going to share with you, baby steps. And perfection is your enemy. Make sure that you are flexible and ready to adapt and adjust to your students. Now, we've got to remember, in order to have successful centers in our classroom, we are going to have to remember this fact, that successful implementation and management of learning centers requires that your centers have clarity, functionality, and consistency. Now, I like to call this the learning centers trifecta. We start with that clarity. Are your students clear about what is expected of them and how to complete the activity? Then functionality. Is the rotation system functional? Does it move smoothly? And do the students know where to go each time? And is there consistency? Are you keeping up with your centers? Are you changing them out on a regular schedule? Is there a system in place if a student misses a center? For example, an absence, or maybe your schedule gets messed up. Now, there are 3 common mistakes that I see teachers make, including me. Trust me, I made these mistakes when I first started. Mistake number 1 is students are not clear on what they are supposed to do. When I visit schools and talk to teachers in my trainings, the first mistake that sticks out is this mistake right here. There's no clarity. Now, let me explain. We're going to jump into our virtual teacher, Mrs. Stacy, and we're going to get into her classroom and we're going to take a look around. Now, Stacy is a first grade teacher with 25 students. She runs a 75-minute literacy block with 5 center rotations. She observes her students. Now, these are the things that she sees her students doing. They are chatting with each other. They're off task. They're not completing the activities. They're often finding other things to do that result in her having to stop teaching in her small groups in order to redirect their behavior. Can I get a hand raise? Is this you? Are you starting to see yourself in Ms. Stacy's classroom? She can't figure out why. Well, she doesn't have any clarity. That's why. Stacy has provided activities that have many moving parts. They require students to figure out how to complete each activity each day. Her centers often include materials that Stacy's actually teaching that week on the lesson plan. There is no clarity. Now, I want you to think about this. To get clarity in your center activities, your center activities need to be predictable. They need to follow a predictable pattern that students are not having to relearn how to complete an activity. Now, this does not mean that they all have to be the same, but you do need to provide them with a set or think of it as different types of activities, but you're just changing the skill. You're not actually changing the way the activity is completed. Your center activities also need to only require a few materials. Too often I go into classrooms and I see these center activities that require this bag full of materials to complete. The center activities that you put in your centers should only require a few materials. Maybe their pencil, eraser, maybe some scissors and glue, and maybe some math manipulatives, maybe some letter tiles, but not all of these intricate pieces in order to complete the centers. Now, your center activities also need to contain skills that you have already taught. This is probably the biggest mistake that I see teachers make with regard to clarity, and that is thinking that their centers need to align with what's on the lesson plan for that week. Now, that's not what centers are for. Centers are meant to be review and enrichment. And in order for your students to complete an activity on their own, they need to have already seen that skill. It doesn't mean they've mastered it yet, but they need to have at least seen it. They need to have at least been taught that skill. And too often I see teachers putting center activities that are going along with a new skill that they're introducing that week. That is not what needs to happen. Your center activities should already be, should be skills that your students have already been taught, because it's either review or enrichment for your students. Now, mistake number 2 that I see teachers make is that teachers use a system that doesn't function without them. How many times, I want you to think, how many times, if you're already running learning centers, how many times do you typically have to get up during a learning center rotation? If you're having to get up during that center rotation, your system is not functioning. We're going to jump back over to Miss Stacy's classroom now, and let's see what she's observing. So Stacy's students randomly sit anywhere in the classroom. Now, I will tell you that she is a teacher that actually uses flexible seating, and I'm a huge proponent of flexible seating, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that coming up. When it's time to switch centers, Stacy's students are taking up to 15 minutes to clean up and switch. Give me a hand raise. Is this your students? They take forever to clean up their centers. Mine were. This was definitely where my students were. And at transitions, students are not sure where to go next or what centers they have completed. Are you having to physically move your students from place to place or center to center in order to get them started on the next round? Miss Stacy, she's having that problem. Now, Stacy wonders why her students have such a hard time functioning during centers. It's because her rotation system does not have any functionality. Stacy has a center system that requires her to get up each rotation. She has to help her students clean up and move to the next center, and this is wasting precious time. She also is continually interrupted during small groups because students don't have the supplies they need. So ask yourself, in your centers, if you are running centers right now, do you have function? Students should know exactly where they should be working. Now, I told you, Stacy is running flexible seating in her classroom. I love flexible seating in the classroom, but even when I was using flexible seating in my classroom, I made sure that during center time, the flexible seating was not really available. Certain parts of it might be, but when they were working as far as each center station, students knew exactly where that center station was to be completed. Students should also know exactly where they're supposed to go next. So students should have a pretty good idea going into your learning centers block, whether it be a math block or a literacy block. They should know exactly where they're going next. So they know they're starting at point A, and where is point B, and where is point C. Students should also have exactly the supplies they need in each center. A lot of times I see teachers trying to allow students to carry maybe a supply bag around with them. Trust me, I did this. This was a huge learning curve for me. I let my students carry around a supply bag with them, and often they were losing supplies got left in the center and so forth. But when I was able to learn that, I just made sure that the exact supplies they needed for that center were already in the center, that cut down on all of that. So your students should know they should have exactly the supplies they need in that center. And there should be a system in place for common interruptions that could occur. Now this is crucial, because raise your hand if you've ever been interrupted because they need to get a Kleenex, or they need to sharpen their pencil, or they need to go to the bathroom. There should be a system in place for common interruptions that are going to occur, so that your students learn how to problem solve without needing you. You've got to have that system in place. Now, mistake number 3 that I see teachers making is that they use a system that is too complicated to maintain. Remember those thousands of dollars that I told you that I spent? Yeah, it was on some pretty complicated systems that were way too much for me to keep up and maintain. So let's jump back over to Miss Stacy's classroom. So Stacy doesn't have centers ready to switch out each week. She can't find similar activities to the ones she's using so that her students maintain that clarity. She doesn't know how to make her own centers so that they do follow that predictable pattern. So Stacy is hit or miss each week on whether she runs centers. She has no consistency. Stacy isn't running centers every single day. She isn't prepared, and she doesn't have centers organized. She skips days and decides each morning if she's even going to run them that day. And this leads to more student confusion and less time with her small groups. Now, I can tell you, this was me. If this is you, tell me. Just let's own it right now, and don't be embarrassed, because we've all been there. If this is you, there is a way to get out of it. You've got to have some consistency in your centers. You need to run your center rotations every single day. Now, I know I can hear you now without even jumping over and looking at the chat. I can hear you now saying, oh, but what about fire drill days? What about half days? What about when we have a speaker come in and it totally throws our schedule off? I get it. There are going to be times in your classroom that it's going to throw your schedule off, and your literacy center block is going to, or your literacy block is going to get interrupted. Your math block's going to get interrupted. A half day happens. Whatever the case may be, there are going to be times that happens. But on all those other days, you need to have the consistency and run these center rotations every single day that you can. And in order to do that, you're going to need to have centers prepared ahead of time. Now, you need to have your centers organized so that you can quickly switch those out as well. And you need to have a place that you can go to get those centers. You don't need to be spending your entire weekend or 3 hours after school or your entire Sunday looking for centers to put into your center rotations. You need to know how to make your own centers also, because there are going to be times that a skill comes up that your particular group of students need some more practice with, and you just don't have a center readily available for you to pull and put in there, and you need to know how to make your own centers as well. Now, this could be you. I love this. This right here is Megan B. She's a kindergarten teacher, and she went through this program, and this was something that she said. She said, I love this because I love centers and not just worksheets. And I can still track what they know and don't know. With an easy to follow system in place, I can know that each week my small group time with my students will be more productive, and my off group students will still be getting valuable review time with the skills that they need. Love, love, love this girl. This right here is Judy F. So I love the fact that she came in as thinking that centers were only for younger students. So if I've got any 3rd, 4th grade teachers in here, I'm telling you, centers are not just for the younger grades. Judy says, I used to think that centers were just for younger students. Not anymore. I never thought I could use centers because my students would just be bored. But Farah helped me to see that even my older students wanted fun and engaging activities to help them learn. Now I can help my struggling and advanced learners one-on-one to tailor my instruction to their needs. And then there is Laura. She's a 4th grade teacher, and she says, I was struggling trying to find a center management system that worked. Farah helped me see that center rotations don't have to be complicated. Now my centers run like clockwork, and I can get a lot of instruction done one-on-one with my students. And then Renee says, Sunday nights used to be a nightmare. Can I get a hand raised? Are you like Renee? I would stress over finding center activities for the upcoming week and planning out my small group instruction, knowing my students were not going to be able to use centers without my help. No more. I love this. She says, no more. My students work independently and don't have any trouble moving from station to station while I remain at my small group table teaching the students who need me the most. Isn't that the truth? Those are typically the ones that need us the most, the ones we're meeting in small groups. Thank you so much for introducing me to Teacher Paradise. Oh, I love it. Now, I did want to share with you this. When I finally created a system for my learning system, for my learning centers that had that trifecta, I was able to feel confident in bringing in someone from the outside to observe. This feedback that I'm showing you right now was from an observation that I had from a member of a teaching certification program here in my state. This wasn't my own principal, not a mentor teacher. It was someone who didn't know me or my students. They came in and observed during my small group reading instruction. This was a 60-minute block, and I met with all 25 of my students at my small group table. And my students got to complete each rotation of their learning centers without me leaving my table or having to intervene in the process. They were working quietly and efficiently to complete the activities, and they knew exactly what was expected at each phase. They knew how to move from center to center, how to handle obstacles that came up, and they did it with confidence. This allowed me to get the most out of my time with them when they met with me one-on-one at my table. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, how old were these students? These were my beloved 1st graders. And I'll give you a little bit more insight. I did not know, there was no advanced prep for this. I knew my principal had come to me and asked me if I was okay with someone coming in to observe. I had no idea when they were showing up. And it was about 3 weeks later when just boom, at my door, all of a sudden, here my principal stood with this person and said, can she come in and observe? So I wanted to share that with you, that this is totally possible for you. Now, I have a question for you. Would you like me to show you how you can have clarity, functionality, and consistency in your learning centers? Tell me right now, do you want that? Are you you're just like, oh, give it to me, Farah, tell me. You are here because you want to reach all your students at their level. You're also here because you want to stop spending your time and energy focused on the students that are not in your small groups. Raise your hand if you feel like you spend all your time during small group instruction focused on the students that aren't even sitting at your table. Man, seriously, that was me. You are also here if you don't want to spend your evenings and weekends prepping center activities. So you have a choice. You have option 1. You don't create a system that is effective and efficient, and you just continue to struggle with ineffective, stressful, and non-existent centers. Now, you have a second choice where you can commit 100% to creating and implementing a system that transforms your classroom and makes your life as a teacher easier and more effective. Now, I know which one I would choose. So tell me, option 1, option 2. Tell me in the comments. I've got to go over here and see what everybody's saying. Option 1, option 2. Which one will they choose? If you are ready to choose option 2, to successfully implement and manage learning centers in your classroom, then I would like to invite you to join me inside Learning Centers Made Easy. Now, Learning Centers Made Easy is the only teacher program of its kind that not only shows you exactly how to implement and manage learning centers in your classroom, but it also shows you how to stay consistent with the planning and creating of center activities so that you can finally get your sanity and time back. Raise your hand if you'd like to get your sanity and time back, because I know that was like crucial for me. Here's what you get inside Learning Centers Made Easy. You get a proven system for planning out your center rotations. You get a proven system for managing those learning center rotations. And you get a proven system for keeping your centers fresh and consistent. Now let's look at the program schedule. So the program schedule is set up in 4 weeks. And in Module 1, which will be week 1, we're going to go over a learning center game plan where we're going to talk about the what, the why, the types of centers, where to find them. And then in week 2, we're going to go through equipment, storage, supplies, and getting your learning centers set up. Then in week 3, we're going to go through managing those learning centers, how you introduce centers to your classroom, how you pick learning partners, your rotation management, accountability during those learning centers. If you're in a school district that requires that everything you do has something that holds your students accountable, something that is a produced work that you have to be able to show that the activity, the students actually produced something, then this is definitely the week that you're going to love. Now, Module 4 and week 4, we're going to talk about keeping your centers fresh and how you can change them out and even how you can make your own. I'm going to show you how I created all of my centers all by myself, and I'm going to let you in a little secret. I actually did it all from my iPad. So it's that simple. Now, this Learning Centers Made Easy program, I have taught on campuses live, and it typically is about an 8-hour full day training. And if I was to do this on a campus, a school district or school would actually pay me $1,000 to come give this training live on their campus. But they only got me live talking for 8 hours. I know that you're probably like, oh my gosh, not another PD day. But they also didn't get all of these bonuses. Here are some of the other things that you're going to get. You are going to get a Learning Centers Planner. Now, I'm going to provide this to you in both a printable version and an editable version that you can actually fill out on your computer and then print out to put into your lesson planner. You're also going to get a Learning Centers Rotation Management printable display. So I'm going to give you the display. We're going to learn how to create it. We're going to learn how to display it and how to use it. And then you're going to get learning partner printable tags so that when we talk about learning partners, you're going to learn how to use those. You're also going to get storage labels. When we get into the storage week where we're talking about how to store your centers, you're going to get labels for all your bins for storing those. You're also going to get center templates for DIY centers that you create. And remember, I told you I'm going to show you how to create those centers. And you're also going to get some classroom-friendly fonts. And you're also going to get some clip art for personal use so that you'll have a basis to get started making your own centers. And again, I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, these bonuses alone are over a $200 value, but there is more. I know it just keeps getting better, doesn't it? You're going to get a Facebook group, a private Facebook group for ongoing support. You're also going to get live training each week with me. I'm not bringing anybody else in to do my job. You're going to get live training each week with me. And if you're not able to make it to the live training, we will record it so that you can watch it on the replay, and you can always go back and reference those replays as well. You're also going to get additional office hours each week. In addition to the live training, I'm going to have another time set aside for office hours where I will be there for you to jump into my virtual office and you can ask me questions. If you are coming to office hours while you're still in your classroom, we can look at things in your classroom. I can give you advice on maybe how you're displaying things or how things are going and so forth. But these are going to be crucial for you to take advantage of, and they will be there for you each week. You're also going to get access to this material and the updates for life. Like I said, each one of those trainings is going to be recorded, and you're going to get the replay that you can come back and watch this from year to year and get, you know, right before you start the new year, you're going to be able to go, I need a refresher, and you're going to be able to come in and get that. Now, these bonuses are over a $500 value just for these bonuses. Now, I'm exactly like you. I don't want you to think that I have some special, you know, fairy pixie dust that I sprinkle over my students that makes them, you know, be able to perform or anything like that. I am a teacher, and I was a struggling teacher. I struggled with learning centers. It was the thorn in my side for so long until I finally stepped back and I figured out that it didn't have to be as complicated as I was making it. And now that I have created this system, if and when I go back into the classroom, I don't care what grade level it is, I know that I can run my math and literacy centers with ease, and my students are going to rock it. Now, I do offer a money-back guarantee, but here's the catch. I'm only looking for serious action takers. So you're going to need to show that you gave the program a try before requesting a refund. I do this because I'm not looking for tire kickers, but I'm looking for true educational rock stars that want to dive in and get results quickly. So if you do the work and you're still not satisfied, show me your work. You've come to office hours, you've come to the training, I will gladly give you a refund. I'm even giving you 45 days. That gets you through the program, through the live trainings, through the office hour opportunities, and even time to have it all in place for a few weeks. And if you're still not satisfied, I will gladly give you a refund. There's one last bonus, and this is probably the one that I am most excited about. If you enroll in Learning Centers Made Easy, you are going to get access to my K4 year-long center bundles. Can I get an amen, sister? Seriously, there are over 200 centers at each grade level in these center bundles. And while kindergarten through 4th is available, we have pre-K and 5th coming. In fact, 5th grade just went into production. Super excited about that. Each one of these center bundles has 10 literacy centers and 10 math centers in it. And or each month in the bundle, they have, I need to rephrase that because there's over 200 centers, but each month within each unit within the year-long bundle has 10 math centers and 10 literacy centers for a total of 200 centers at each grade level. Now, this is just to get you started because I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We are going to be adding centers to this as well. So you are going to be able to get in and get access to all these center bundles. And here's why this is such a great thing. You might be teaching 1st grade this year, but what happens if you get moved to kindergarten next year? What happens if you get moved to 2nd grade? My 4th grade teachers, what happens if you get moved to 3rd grade? No worries. You get to come back to your course and back to your program, and you get to get into your dashboard and you get to get the grade level that you need for that particular year. I'm going to give that as my free gift to you. So I'm super excited about that. Now, this right here has a value of over $700 right here. These bundles alone are valued over at $700. Now, let's just recap. That's a lot to take in. So I want you to see exactly everything you're getting. You're getting that Learning Centers Management Program. Or Learning Centers Made Easy program. You're getting the Learning Centers Planner. You're getting Learning Centers Rotation Management, printable display. You're getting the Learning Partner printable tags. You're getting storage labels, center templates. You're getting classroom-friendly fonts, clip art for personal use, the K4 year-long center bundles, and we are adding pre-K and 5th in the future. You're also getting a private Facebook group. You're getting live training with me each week with the replay available, additional office hours for support, and you get access to all this material and updates for life. Now, the total value of this program is over $2,400. Now, don't spit your drink on your computer screen. I know, don't choke. It's okay, because let's look at our next question. What is this going to cost me? You might be asking yourself right now, all right, Farah, give us the price. And you're likely thinking I'm going to charge hundreds of dollars for this program. And the truth is, I probably should. It's that good. And the results you get will save you so much time and money. It's definitely worth it. When I told my colleagues about this program, hands down, they all said that I needed to charge at least $1,000. After all, that is what a school or a district would be charged if I came onto their campus and was giving this training. That's when I decided, no, I'm going to cut that in half. Now stay with me. But then I thought, I know my community well. You are teachers. I'm a teacher. And I know that although you are incredibly serious about giving your students the best possible learning environment you can, that price point right there was going to be tough for you. So that's when I asked myself, what would my sanity, my time, and student success be worth to me? Well, it actually is priceless to me, but I knew I had to put a price on it somewhere. But I want this program to be affordable to you. I want you to be able to enroll today, jump in, and get started on that path to teacher paradise. That's why I decided to offer this program at a price that is much less than it likely should be. For the investment of a daily stop at Starbucks, you can have a learning center system that will allow you to teach in small groups with ease, know your students are getting the review and enrichment they deserve, and not spend your entire weekend keeping up with it. If you enroll today, you can enroll for 2 monthly installments of only $75, or you can save even more and pay in full at $129. You can jump over to farahhenley.com/join at the end of this presentation, and you can choose which option is going to be best for you. But wait, I have a fast action bonus. If you enroll in the next 24 hours, you know what? I think I'm going to up that to 48 hours. Let's give you 48 hours. If you enroll in the next 48 hours, so before Friday at midnight, you are going to get entered into a drawing where you could win my entire storage system. This is 24 12 by 12 iris boxes, 24, actually I think there's 36 in those, but I only used 24 4x6 photo boxes, and 2 packs of Astro Bright paper for you to be able to print your centers on. You could get entered to win if you enroll in the next 48 hours. Who's just excited about the opportunity to win this storage system? Because man, that right there, everybody, all teachers love those boxes. Absolutely. This is a $125 value, and you could get it free if you win, but you got to enroll in the next 48 hours. Again, you can enroll today for only 2 monthly installments of $75, or pay in full at $129. That's farahhenley.com/join. And I want to ask you a question. What might be stopping you? Maybe you're thinking that you don't have time. You might be thinking that you just don't have time to implement a new system. But my friend, you don't have time because you have not implemented my system. You also might be thinking that my students can't do this. Yes, they can. You just need to show them the way. And in order for you to show them, I've got to show you. You might also be thinking, I can't afford it. But let me ask you, what is your time and sanity worth? What are you spending now on your classroom to just put a Band-Aid on the problems that you're having with learning centers or small group instruction? Now, remember, you can do this. You have 2 choices, and I know all of you want to make that commitment. But don't delay, because seats are limited for this program. Again, you can go to farahhenley.com/join. Now I'm going to open it up for some Q&A. So let me jump over here and see if we have any questions. And I'm going to go over into the comments. So if you've got questions, go ahead and leave them. I'm going to leave this link right up here on here, but we are open for questions. So I'm going to kind of go up through here. Oh, absolutely. So Joanna asks, is 5th grade still 124? Yeah, the 129, if you enroll today for 129, you are going to get access to any of the centers that I add to the program. So when I get 5th grade done, then they're going to be added. And I will tell you, we're doing those 1 month at a time, and the centers will be added a month at a time. So I'm not going to wait till all the months are done to add it. Right now we're on schedule to have October done first. We're starting with October, and we're going to add that to the program so that you'll have access to those as they come out. So yeah, it's the same price, and you get access to all of those centers. Heather Martin says, when will pre-K be available? Pre-K is on the list. I will be honest, I think pre-K is going to be in production starting with January. Right now, that's kind of where we're at, starting with January. But again, I will tell you that this price, and let me kind of go, I don't think I can go back to it, but this price is going up. And a lot of those kindergarten centers I used when I taught pre-K because of the school I was teaching in and the skills that we had to teach in pre-K. Those kindergarten centers were actually created when I taught pre-K. So you could definitely use those kindergarten centers now. And when pre-K comes out, they'll be a little bit more basic and hands-on for those. The reason I wanted to do pre-K was not only for my homeschoolers out there who want to be able to start their kids on some skills and things like that, but I also wanted to be able to give my kindergarten teachers a chance to have some centers that their kindergartners could do when maybe they didn't go to a pre-K program, but definitely also for my pre-K teachers. So it's probably going to be around January before we start releasing those pre-K centers, but you'll still be able to use the kindergarten ones now. So any other questions? I love these questions. How soon we have pre-K of the centers? I teach 6th grade ELA. Will this work for me? Okay, so Misty, my beloved 6th grade teacher, I will tell you that I am not even going to pretend that I know anything about 6th grade because I've not taught 6th grade. I will tell you that the 5th grade centers are going to cover, as we know in ELA, the standards and skills that we teach in ELA was my jam. So we know that the skills and standards that we teach in ELA are very, they're very scaffolded, and they're pretty much the same skills that we teach all the way from kindergarten through 6th grade. It's just about how deep you go into them. And so I will tell you that the 5th grade centers are, I think I would still use those if I was teaching 6th grade, because I know I've heard a lot of my, a lot of the teachers who have used the centers say that they're using those 5th grade center, or excuse me, even the 4th grade centers, not the 5th grade, the 4th grade centers in their 6th grade classroom because they've got students who are so far behind and need that extra practice. I can't tell you that we will ever have 6th grade centers that come out, because I also believe in not putting anything out that I haven't taught before, because I just don't ever want to mess that up. But, oh, you're teaching reading intervention, then I would definitely say yes, because I know that even when I taught 5th grade, I had kids who were on a 3rd grade level, and I was using 3rd grade centers for my 5th graders. And so I would definitely, and more importantly, Misty, you're going to get the whole system. It's not just the centers. It's not just about the activities, but you're also going to get the management portion, the planning portion, and I'm going to teach you how to make your own. So you're going to have these center templates where you can actually go in and say, hey, I need these to be a little harder for my enrichment in my 6th grade. But hey, I can use the 4th and 5th grade for review for my 6th graders. So you're going to get all of that in the program. All right, guys, any more questions? Yes, Misty, yes, everything is connected. All right, we've got about 5 more minutes. I want to make sure I answer all of your questions. I'm loving this, loving this, loving this. I'm about to lose my voice. It's crazy. I've been so excited about this all day. My husband was like, calm down, woman. All right, guys, so it looks like I've answered all of your questions. Do not hesitate to send me an email at info@farrahhenley.com. Remember to jump over to farrahhenley.com/join. Don't miss out on that fast action bonus. And I will see you guys in the program.